great. Nervous. You know, there's this old adage, there are only two ways to run, without an opponent or scared.
For president, I can tell you it takes guts to run. It's also a very dangerous profession, if you want to know the truth.
49 past the hour. That was Vice President Harris and former President Trump during some of the just many podcasts they have joined recently. Podcasts are really transforming the race in so many ways. As the New York Times put it, quote, presidential candidates used to visit 99 counties in Iowa. Now it seems they go on 99 podcasts. Tomorrow, both candidates are heading to Texas, where they will take part in podcast interviews. Former President Trump will be on with Joe Rogan, who hosts the #1 podcast on Spotify. Vice President Harris will record with Brene Brown, a researcher whose podcast is popular with women. Joining us now, Matt Steed, staff writer for the New York Magazine's Intelligencer, and back with us, Mark McKinnon, former advisor to former President George W. Bush and late Senator John McCain. So, Matt, are podcasts in a way like the new town halls?
Yeah, I think when Donald Trump goes on Rogan tomorrow, it's going to be the victory lap of this effort to reach young male voters, which he's been doing for months now. You know, he's been doing a lot of outreach with this audience going on podcasts by comedians and generally non-political shows like Theo Vaughn, who's a former MTV reality star, or Jake Paul, who's an influencer who now sells coconut water and is a WWE wrestler. So going on Joe Rogan is kind of the biggest one. It's the biggest show there is. It's 3 times larger than the next largest audience. The question to me is whether this is going to work or not. He's trying to reach a young male audience, which is a really hard demographic to get to vote in the midterms. I think 1 in 3 of voters under 30 voted, and men tend to skew less than that. So they might be able to see Donald Trump listening to, you know, a former reality TV guy talk to him about, you know, crazy stuff in his life. But are they actually going to get to vote in November? It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, how do you think, and you've been involved in so many campaigns, how does a campaign decide, for example, which podcast to put their candidate on?
Well, we used to campaign in an environment where there were 3 television stations that covered everybody. Now people listen to 100 different outlets, and media is disaggregated. And the whole goal of any campaign is to fish where the fish are. So you got to find voters where they're either watching or listening today. And increasingly, people are not watching broadcast news; they're listening to podcasts. And some of those podcast numbers, like Joe Rogan, are off the charts. It's a lot of people. So it's actually a very efficient way. I mean, you can go to 99 counties, and most of those counties have 500 people, or go on Rogan's podcast and reach millions. So it's just a smart strategy of recognizing where voters live and breathe and get their entertainment these days, and going to where they are and appealing to where their entertainment is.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, you know, there are so many different aspects or even lines of questioning that podcasters have the freedom to do versus others. I want to play for you some of the questions that both the vice president and Trump have been asked recently.
I noticed at the events you don't drink, and you don't drink or smoke, right?
I don't drink or smoke. No.
You never have?
No, I never have. I had a great brother who taught me a lesson: don't drink, and he said don't smoke.
In 2013, a blind date with your now husband, Doug. If you think back to that date and now we're here, did you ever imagine this was going to be the journey?
No, I just have a really bossy best friend.
Yeah, I just wondered, Matt, what kind of impact do these moments carry?
Right. With Trump and Theo Vaughn, it's hard to tell, you know, how much of Trump's message is actually getting across on those podcasts. You know, the parts that you see clipped out are ones like that, where they're talking about something silly or in a way in which Trump is kind of humanized or looks funny. But, you know, these voters might not be learning anything about Trump's economic message. That being said, maybe they don't care. Maybe a voter who's 21 and listening to Theo Vaughn doesn't necessarily need to hear Trump talk about the economy as much as think that he's reaching out to him. So It's a new strategy, and if it's successful, if you see a coalition of young voters, young male voters in Trump's electoral results, if he wins, then we're going to see more of this. And JD Vance will be on these podcasts, and maybe those voters will tire of them there. But it's new, and it feels like it is something that is not going to go away.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, there's that whole issue of this is a candidate I'd like to have a beer with, kind of thing, right? And so how to humanize candidates that are involved in such a different environment, right? Having to run for president of the United States. I'm just thinking, are these podcasts really effective at humanizing these candidates?
100% they are. They're so much more informal. They're so much more relaxed. Most of the people listening to podcasts and a lot of people who are voting, they're not voting on issues. They're voting on attributes. What kind of human being is this? Do they have a sense of humor? Are they authentic? And to your point about the beer test, I mean, in 2000, we used to do focus groups, and Gore would beat the hell out of us on 9 out of 10 issues. And at the end, we'd say, well, who do you want to have a beer with? And it'd be unanimous. They wanted to have a beer with George W. Bush. And I mean, it really, we kind of overcomplicate these things. But at the end of the day, people want to vote for people who are like them, who share their interests, and somebody they want to watch on TV or listen to on a podcast for the next 4 years.